Hailey Van Lith forming one of the top 1-2 punches in the country. As we take a look at the USF starters, Mama Dembele approaching 500 career assists, has the longest active streak of games with 3 or more dimes in the country, 37 consecutive coming into tonight. Victoria Blazic, tough time getting going last night. They'll be looking for more from her as well. And Sammy Puisis, huge game at 22 in their loss to Mississippi State. Madison Connor got things started for TCU in that fourth quarter, did the Arizona transfer, finished with 18. And if Hailey Van Lith and Sedona Prince are one of the best 1-2 punches, add in Madison Connor, you probably have one of the best trios in all of Division I women's college basketball. And keys on both sides.
Well, let's talk about USF. We're taking a look at them here. The biggest thing I can think of, Matt, for them is rebounding. They are a guard-dominated team, and you see Putu right there going up against the 6'7" Prince. That's going to be a huge matchup, and everyone's going to have to chip in on the boards. And for TCU, it's going to be about playing 40 minutes because they still are thriving after that Notre Dame win, and they're just going to want to come back with all the energy back on the court.
Tip controlled by TCU. Van Lith running pick and roll action with Prince. Two of them both with huge games yesterday. Bigby actually got the scoring started yesterday. She'll do it again. 3-pointer for Taylor Bigby. And second straight day with a 3-0 lead for TCU. I don't know if that's an omen, but if it is, that's a good sign for the Horned Frogs.
Well, Bigby getting started. She is such a key player for this TCU team. We talk about the big three, but she is just as impactful on both ends of the court.
It's a lineup as Connor snipes a 3 and cans it. To make this nothing, TCU was about to say it's a lineup that is chock full of transfers. So more or less, they'll run about 7-8 deep. And there's only one player in Aaliyah Roberson that's actually been at TCU since her freshman year. Everybody else is a transfer. Mark Campbell's embraced the portal.
Coach Campbell says that's what we did, is we just embraced the portal and wanted to build a team off of that. They had one of the teams that don't have any freshmen across the nation in their program. So really utilize the transfer portal. And this is when it really works. That transfer portal is when players start finding their rhythm and the right system that really elevates their game and the winning style.
Rito got a bucket at one end for USF.
You've got to match up with Connor.
Just a question, Ann O'Neill. How are you going under a screen on a 41% three-point shooter?
Well, because Bigby is dangerous off the bounce, too, so they're probably playing that one first. But she can knock it down, and if you give her a little space, she'll take that option as well. That's called multi-dimensional, one of those 3-level scorers.
Yeah, TCU has a lot of them. 2 minutes in, 6-2 Horned Frogs. There's Bigby. They call her Biggs. Over the shoulder. And Dembele quickly looking to push. We love Sammy Puisis' quick release. There it is again, mid-range jumper.
I love that she's always looking for her shot. Puisis, she gets the ball, that's the first thing. She knows that Coach Fernandez has said, anytime you have the ball in an opening, I want you to shoot it, and she takes that challenge on.
Bigby on the reversal and got the friendly bounce. 6 early points for Taylor Bigby after 9 last night. Puisis, Dembele, and nobody got a shot off. Shot clock violation in the first USF turnover.
Tough possession offensively for USF, but watch their defense. Against TCU, you have to start picking and choosing who you're going to help on the post or on Hailey Van Lith. So right now, they left Bigby open and started helping, and that's why she hit a couple of those long jumpers, because you got to be ready for Prince.
That regular season result looks like come March. Dembele stepping through, out of real estate. Shot clock inside 10. Puisis up on one leg, short, Burrito had to go up. That didn't hit anything. Second shot clock violation on USF. Mark Campbell and the Horned Frogs as locked in as anybody could be after matching the biggest win in program history in terms of over a ranked opponent. Hadn't beaten anyone that high in the polls since going back to Cal in what was December of 2008. So almost 16 years for this program. Van Lith and the triple. And just like that, TCU up double digits at the halfway point of this first quarter. 13th three of the year for Hailey Van Lith. Dembele. Puisis calls glass. Saturday night deposit. 4 for Sammy Puisis. And there's Connor attacking. And yesterday, 21 on 8 of 15 shooting, 7 assists. And
that game, she just really put the team on her back. Her eyes were wide open, and she was like, I'm going to run this pick and roll offense and make options happen. She either took it to the rim by herself, which is how they started inching back into the game. She dropped and kicked for Connor with those three-pointers, and you're getting a look at Hailey Van Lith's parents, Corey and Jessica, and man, were they fired up last night.
Yeah, at one point I felt like Dad wanted to check into the game.
And this is their second trip as well to the Cayman.
Van Lith missed the three. It's only their third miss of this quarter. Putu, deep catch, everything but the finish. South Florida now 3 of its first 12 and has turned it over a couple of times. Connor again. Offensive rebound, and there's Aaliyah Roberson, who we talked about as the only homegrown player on this roster. The junior from San Antonio, all 3 years of her career at TCU. And off target is Blazik on the jumper. Horned Frogs threatening to really bust this one open going into the second period. Van Lith right up into contact, score the layup plus the foul.
Ooh, that crossover is so pretty. But what I love about Hailey Van Lith is her body control, because she's going up against these bigs, and she just knows how to maneuver her shoulders and her strength in those shoulders to be able to still complete the play off the glass. She is so impressive anytime she takes it off the dribble, especially for her height. Just really developed into one of the top elite point guards, shooting guards, and combo guards in the nation. She's going to be so fun to watch, even in the WNBA.
Blazik with a much needed answer for South Florida to stop some of the bleeding. And now 13 is the deficit. Only the 4th made field goal, though, for the Bulls. Clinic at both ends of the floor for TCU to start. The flash, and Jovanovic off target on the 3. Levy down with the rebound for USF. Bulls, and there's Blazik with what's 5 straight. And boy, did they need that to try and close out this first period. Maybe if you can get one more stop, you're feeling a little bit better about yourselves if you're the Bulls. And good block. Ball tied up, arrow over to USF, and they'll get one more possession.
You see them get some action going towards the basket and creating off the dribble. You got to play that inside-outside game to open up those threes.
Taking a little too much time here. Blazik dropping it off. Turnaround and nearly got the friendly roll. Big first quarter for the TCU Horned Frogs. Off of a massive upset yesterday. 10-point lead here on USF at the 2024 Cayman Islands Classic. Glad you could spend your holiday weekend with us. Matt Martucci, the former Iowa State standout, Ann O'Neill. And our Our Flow College crew. Little 5-0 run for Salardo to close what was the first period. But Bigby too easy to the bucket and give her 8. Goes back to our conversation. What do you take away with the Horned Frogs? Take away one thing, they can beat you another way. You close out on Taylor Bigby on the perimeter, she goes by you and gets a layup. Levy separating. And the Israeli national team member makes this a 10-point game. First 2 for Romy Levy.
That last possession, USF trapped on every single play, and so that means you're in a lot of chaos. You're trying to close out on players, and that possession, it worked. Got a defensive rebound and off to the races.
Trying to get this game back under double digits. Levy. And got a look and knocks down the jumper.
2 in a row.
A slower shot. And then Bulldogs switched defenses multiple times. Seemed to throw the Bulls offense off and were never really the same. Van Lith got that block from behind. Good defense by Brito. TCU keeps it, but only 6 to shoot.
Nice help by Sammy Puisis there, getting her hand on it.
Van Lith.
Nice play there by Hailey Van Lith. And this last one by Putu, causing the travel by Prince. That's what she's able to do. Those small plays that you don't necessarily see on the stat sheet, but she's not intimidated by anyone. Even when they were playing this summer, it looked like they had been playing together for years, and it's shown up here in the Cayman Islands Classic.
Yeah, particularly, the connection between Prince and Van Lith. Here she is again. And inside foul line pull, it takes care of it. 10 for Van Lith. Becomes the first player in double figures for either team. TCU back up 12, lead's been as many as 15. Dembele, step through and off the window. Ama Dembele, one of a couple players on this roster from Spain, 11 international players on this USF team. Halfway point of this second quarter. Down to 3 to shoot, Prince. Extra pass, and they beat it with Roberson. Picture perfect execution. 4 off the bench for Aaliyah Roberson. Good screen to free up Tomaszewska, who's newly into the game for USF. Van Lith stepping back to the perimeter, rattles home. All Horned Frogs from the jump, haven't even had a tie. Jumped out early on, 21-6. Puisis, another long jumper. Started 2 for 9. Prince, tough catch. Whirling dervish and just knocked Brito to the floor. Sedona Prince, great story. Third school, Texas and Oregon were part of her first 2 stops. And the grad student from Liberty Hill, Texas, under Mark Campbell, rediscovered her love for the game.
Knows the spacing with her length and still can time that block on the mid-range jumper.
Dembele, no place to go. Puisis, and that didn't hit anything. Shot clock violation. It's at least the 3rd one that the USF Bulls have had tonight. Coach F's team known for its defense more so than its scoring. Only giving up a little less than 59 a game. Top 50 in three-point percentage D. Just outside top 100 in scoring, but
that's one of the actions that other teams are going to have to scout and prepare for, because they are able to lob that perfectly, and Prince knows to keep the ball above her head and just lay it right in.
Yeah, it's one thing to have a big who's 6'7", 2-2 to the free throw line. And that stops what's a scoreless almost 4.5 minutes for USF. Mark Campbell pretty candid in his press conference yesterday after the big win over Notre Dame. Said, I feel like all these young ladies are here for a reason. You know, basically about 95% of them at different schools a year ago, save for Roberson. Said they've all really come together, and the pieces fit for what's a really talented basketball team. Madison Connor, one of those pieces.
On cue.
8 for Connor. Comes in 3rd in the country in threes made with over 4 of them a game. TCU up 19. No longer threatening to blow this game open. It's open. Huisis calls glass for the 2nd time tonight. Boy, did USF need that. I mean, Saturday night, it's the drive-up ATM. You put in the card.
ATM, yep. Mm-hmm.
You put in the card, and then it's just, you know, you can make deposits with bills.
That's right.
Depending on your bank. What's the 15th foul on USF? Sedona Prince, 7 points, 3 rebounds, a pair of assists, and a block. And oh, by the way, the Hailey Van Lith triple-double watch. Very much alive, 12 points, 7 rebounds, 5 assists.
Wow.
Prince got both. And one more gasp for USF to close out this first half.
Grinding that defensive end in the first half, holding South Florida to 22 points. And we have a stat machine here in front of us, and there were 0 layups for USF in that first half. That's how locked in TCU was on defense. She's just so hard to guard one-on-one. I can't wait to watch her against, you know, they're going to come up against South Carolina here soon, in the next week or two, and then in Big 12 play, because the Big 12 teams have a lot of incredible centers like Ioka Lee and Audie Crooks, Hannah Gusters, across the board. So going up, really can't wait to see how teams play her one-on-one or if they trap and recover.
They're in for a tough time with the full complement of this lineup. That's one thing we know. Dembele that time getting the best of Prince. Got the steal and the bucket.
Their first easy look for the Bulls, but that's how you inch back into it.
Yeah, first one in quite some time as Putu fouls Van Lith.
Well, we highlighted her in the open because she adds so much for USF defensively, for rebounds, and maybe, you know, if she has 4, that's going to be, you know, a coaching moment that they'll be able to take in film, that you don't want to risk giving up another foul because they need her inside presence against Prince.
Dembele got that deflected. Pinballs around the lane and stays with them. And Blazic, boy, did they need that. Brings them to within 15. Van Lith,
nice
that
help.
got deflected. Good anticipation by Brito. Nice high-low. Brito, good seal, and got the bucket.
There's a little run for
game.
USF.
Yeah.
You saw that on the defensive end, rotating. Then Brito noticing the mismatch. She can post up at that 4 spot. Another good look around the bucket.
The last 5 points to USF after the Van Lith free throw. Connor off target, rebound batted toward the Bulls. Donovan Hunter didn't quit on the play. Her team gets a possession because of it. Good hustle for Hunter, who we haven't talked about a whole lot. The Oregon State transfer. This is her right now, but turns it over. And Ines Piper lost it right back to Hunter. Connor dropping off Prince. And in one motion, it's back to a 15-point game.
They must work on that in practice, that kind of alley-oop where she's already in the air. They've done that a few different times in this tournament.
Yeah, over the course of the last 2 days, you're right.
Just lofted up there.
Lisa's really yet to get going. And that's not going to do it. 3 for 12. TCU has made it a point to just shut her off for the most part. 5 of her 7 points tonight have come on a pair of bank shots. One that was a bank top of the key 3. That's how hard she's had to work to get points. Prince over the shoulder, telegraphed it. Dembele will oblige. And takes it the length of the floor. Do give South Florida credit, though, that this hasn't gotten totally out of control. Connor says, well, wait a while.
Hold up just a second. They're playing much better in this second half, and it's starting on the defensive end, getting better looks offensively. It feels like there's a little bit more movement and rhythm to their offensive sets, but you gotta put a hand up on Connor. She's gonna burn you.
Burrito tries to match at this end, it can't, spins it off. USF has opened 4 of 6 in this third period.
Grabbing contact in the trees and getting to the free throw line.
I guess the abbreviations work a little better if you have like a 2-part last name. Working one of the officials. Levy missed the designed inbounds. TCU quietly on pace for about an 80-point night. Van Lith stopping on a dime, got the friendly bounce right around Levy. I don't know, can you put somebody on skates if you're on an island? It's too warm.
Maybe skis? Some water skis?
Yeah, there you go. On skis. Van Lith almost dove the passing lane there. But USF got the bucket. Jeanette Arnio. All Horned Frogs, though. Blazic gets another layup. And USF to within 16. Mark Campbell said, though, on road trips, you know, you play games and you have some team bonding. Try to galvanize you as a group. Get down here and have a little bit of fun the day before you play. And then they'll have some on the day after, which is tomorrow. And then you go back to business as usual. TCU's success and the way that Mark Campbell has built his program. 19-point lead for the 17th ranked Horned Frogs. As Blazic cuts it down with a jumper from the corner. But it started to go through the list of the rotation of transfers that they've put together. I mean, Bigby from USC, Madison Connor, Arizona, Donovan Hunter, Oregon State, Van Lith, 2-time transfer, LSU, her most recent school. Kanisha Godfrey from Mississippi State, Sedona Prince, Texas and Oregon, Agnes Emanopu from Stanford. Just basically everyone in their rotation, with the exception of Aaliyah Roberson, has come from somewhere else. And I mean, you're coming off of a year ago where you had the largest win improvement of any Power 6 program, and they started 4 transfers a year ago. So it's not like it's anything new. but it's just impressive in the modern day landscape to be able to do this.
And credit to Coach Campbell for hitting the transfer portal. He's known as one of the best recruiters in the nation and had a lot of prior relationships before. And even as you were reading all those transfers, those are some of the best, programs out there, but this is the right system and right fit for many of the players out here. And he says, well, you're betting on yourself when you come here because we're going to get the right pieces together and try to win championships at TCU.
Very much coming together for them. Prince double teamed here. Hunter, instead of the pick and roll, goes to Emanopu. She cans the three. Does have 7 new players. And I don't know that it's so much that tonight. It's just they ran into a buzzsaw. TCU's been in control of this essentially from the jump. I mean, we haven't even had a tie at any point tonight. Emanopu drills another 3. Her second one of the night, 10th one for TCU. Horned Frogs will close out the third quarter with what is their largest lead of the evening. And even with that Levy bucket, Hailey Van Lith, Sedona Prince, Madison Connor, the same 3 that led them last night in the upset of Notre Dame. They came in 17th in terms of the AP poll and going to jump up much higher as Van Lith feeds Prince, and oh, by the way, picks up her 7th assist on the evening. So that's something else we're going to pay attention to. 3 more rebounds, 3 more assists, and Hailey Van Lith will join the 5 or 6 other players that have a triple-double this season in women's college basketball. Brito rattles home the jumper. Just taking care of your alma mater, did they not?
They did. They were a little fired up after their loss to UCLA. It looks like they came back with a vengeance and they beat Iowa State earlier this week. But, what I love the most that you brought up, TCU's schedule, is actually both teams here and both coaches really want to move the game forward. And they really focused on creating such a tough non-conference schedule to be able to see where they're at and get better and play against the best. And that's both teams right here, as Hailey Van Lith just keeps showing us more moves. The most exciting thing about Hailey Van Lith's game is what, she was able to accomplish in, the 3-on-3 when she played in the Paris Olympics, and her game just got better because there's a 12-second shot clock during that 3-on-3. So you have to learn how to make a move, create space, and finish within those 10, 12 seconds. And that you really got to see that all summer long. So her game just keeps growing and growing, expanding, and her growth is exponential.
Her teammate Prince gets a block there, and there's Van Lith from the outside. TCU by 30.
You have to learn how to play different. She did that all summer. She focused on her nutrition, her meditation, her mindset, and it's showing up, all that hard work she put in for the TCU Horned Frogs.
Now I'm curious, when you were a player, did you meditate?
I do now. It's a part of my lifestyle the last about 8 years. But back when I played, it wasn't quite as well known. I guess I would say some of the methodologies. Yeah. Middle Tennessee
Brooks
was
actually
picked.
ended up with a double-double.
Yep. Middle Tennessee is one of those programs, a storied program by Rick Ensel there. He's been there for years. They're always picked #1 in Conference USA. Just very similar to South Florida, also picked #1 in the American Conference. But they like to go against bigger teams, get them ready for conference play. And doubt South Florida's had some really good games the last couple of weeks that this experience is going to pay off.
Yeah, I mean, for as many programs over the years that tried to, put it in quotation marks, game the net, by playing and blowing out as many lower tier teams as you possibly can. That's all well and good to get you to March. But then if you actually, you get to March and, you haven't necessarily played some of the schedules that some of these other teams have, it's not going to do you any good. You're going to go home early.
That's right. And there's so much you can learn from playing against different schemes and different options, top programs. And women's basketball is demanding games like this, games like TCU and Notre Dame, because they want to see them. They want to watch the best play the best. We're seeing that across the board in sports.
So congratulations, early congrats to Sedona Prince, 2024 Cayman Islands Classic Most Outstanding Player.
Well-deserved honors by all of those players. Really put on sensational performances here in Cayman Island Classic, and there's nothing better when one of your teammates that doesn't get much playing time comes in. Look at that smile on her face. TCU team get up and celebrate.
And that's the Asia Merrill. (80-43) TCU. Could see it pretty early on that this had the makings of going this way. As Merrill comes down with the rebound. I don't know how many of these programs got to Stingray City the other day. I would imagine that if TCU hasn't yet, they do have the day tomorrow from what Coach Campbell told us. So maybe that's when that's going to happen. Producer Cruz Sanchez, director Lucas Haskins, Liz Harrison and Scott McAllister on camera. Our A1 Tyler Larkin, John McCurdy on replay, and our production assistant Gabe Aleman. Thank you, everybody.
Yes, thank you. And sensational tournament this year.
Yeah, fun to be able to tell those stories these last few days. And with obviously the emergence of players that we've seen in the last couple years, like Hailey Van Lith. Couple of free throws for Amy Thompson, who's a freshman from Stillwater, Minnesota. And this is going to be all she wrote. Classy move here from Mark Campbell. Have his team pull this out. Wire to wire. The day after the biggest upset in the history of their program, TCU ends up putting a hurting on USF. And what's going on here?
One of the players made a layup.
Yeah, it was Godfrey.
I don't know if she thought the time was out or.
Yeah, I thought they were going to pull it out.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. We'll give her the benefit of the doubt.
That's how we're going to end.
Buzz.
Either way, old TCU wire to wire. The 17th ranked Horned Frogs get a 41-point win over USF to move to what is now 8-0 on the year. Mark Campbell has never lost a non-conference game. They are 21-0 in non-conference play in his tenure at TCU. So now the celebration can really begin between now and that matchup with FAU. They'll get a day off tomorrow, one more day in the Cayman Islands before they wrap up and head home. Well, thank you, Ann O'Neill. This has been a fun last 3 days. A pleasure to work with you and look forward to doing it again sometime.
I had a blast. I mean, what's better than great basketball and the beach? It was sensational. Some of the best players in the entire country, best programs, best coaches. I mean, you can't ask for anything more. The mojo was there, the upsets, the team camaraderie, and I'm just really...
TCU 87 and USF 46 for my broadcast partner, Ann O'Neill, and our entire fantastic crew, including our producer and director, Cruz Sanchez and Lucas Haskins. Matt Martucci saying so long. What has been a whirlwind last 6 days. 17 games between men and women, and TCU takes this last one, wins a couple games here. Happy holidays, everybody.